Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our November webinar. Today, Christine Masters, townnews.com's Director of Product Development, will walk you through the features and benefits of Flex, our all-new, fully responsive templates for BLOX CMS. Not long ago, you could count on visitors exclusively using desktops and laptops. Presenting a single, rigid experience really wasn't an issue. Today, your site needs to be nimble. Visitors browse with smartphones, tablets, laptops, and desktops, often in the same sitting. In many cases, upwards of 40% of a site's traffic is mobile. With Flex templates, your site's content, layout, and advertisements can dynamically adjust to fit your user's screen, so they'll always have a great experience on your site. Christine will tell you all about these features and how you can get started. In the room, we also have our CEO, Mark Wilson, and Paige Ruba, our marketing specialist. We have Gary Saznicki, our regional sales manager, and Alana Engel on hand. She's a new project manager. And I'm Aaron Gillette, marketing director at townnews.com. We'll try to cover the formal presentation in about 30 minutes, after which we'll take questions. At any point during the presentation, you can type a question into the chat box, but we'll hold off on answering all of the questions until the end of the show. Take it away, Christine.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, so to kind of get started here, first off, we're really excited about this. This has been in one form or another, we've been working on this for a couple of years. For probably the beginning of the project, we were just doing research and kind of figuring out how we needed to really upgrade the front-end experience for all users with the newest technology and the newest, principles on how to do things on the front end. We talked to a lot of customers. We've worked with several of the biggest and smallest customers that we have, kind of getting requirements for this, really talking about the things that are important to our customers today. A couple of the things that we really heard from people were, you guys wanted things to be easy to use and easy to set up. You guys really wanted things to be faster. That's a big thing that we've heard from a lot of customers and end users. They really want things to be fast, especially in the mobile world. Speaking of mobile, things need to be mobile friendly and really sharp and fast on mobile. The best SEO, and then just, newspapers these days and all media sites are really interested in ways to increase revenue and different types of revenue opportunities. So these are all, in addition to a lot of other things, these are all things that we have really taken into consideration as we were building this front-end experience for users. A couple of really key features to address kind of all of those requirements on the first slide. I'll go into a little depth on some of how we have met each of those goals with this project. First off, talking about how easy it is to use. I think that, and we've heard this feedback from a lot of customers that have started to use the front-end Flex templates. It's not just the end user that is affected by this. There's a lot of different pieces throughout our entire software that are affected by this new way of doing things. This is kind of an example here in the block editor, and this is only on our responsive templates. You now have the ability to preview what the site looks like at the various widths that are used on different types of phones and different types of devices. So our front-end templates actually change depending on whether or not you're looking at it in a large size or an extra small phone size. And now you can actually preview what the site looks like and move blocks around for each of those different device sizes. We also have, it's kind of hard to tell here, but also in the block editor, we have made settings a lot easier to do. Instead of kind of having a secret word and then you had to know what the correct value is of that word, now we just have a real easy form that you can read what each of the settings are and then just choose it with a drop down or a checkbox, and you can just kind of pick different settings and pick different things without having to talk to a customer support person or a web developer. There's just a lot more that can be done inside of the admin by the newspaper staff and by the media staff at the location. And again, this is all in the block editor and exposed to the people at the organization that you would like to have access to do this. You can choose with the user settings who has access to change, different things within the block editor. We really looked at what are the most mobile friendly of the newest technologies that are available today, really the best practices for design today. We talked already about responsive design, where basically the page, this isn't really I've had a couple of people ask me, do you really think responsive design, which is kind of the newest thing that people talk about today, do you think it's a fad or will it stick around? And the thing that I always try to say is that responsive design is built into the browsers. This is something that the browsers support. So the browsers say, what do you want to do when the page is this big? And then we can give instructions to the browser on how it should look at that size. And so this is really something that all of the browsers have built in. So the word itself might be kind of a catchphrase, but the technology is not going away anytime soon. So everything that we've done on the Flex templates is really built around responsive design. We're using the latest HTML5, CSS3. We're using a new Bootstrap 3 framework, which is kind of a CSS framework, which makes things faster and easier in terms of the styling. And then jQuery 2.0, which is actually a big jump in the JavaScript library foundation. So it was a really good point for us to move from the 1x jQuery up to 2.0, which is more sophisticated and has better mobile support. This one is the one that I'm kind of most excited about, is we were crazy about optimizing for speed. We understand that newspapers and media sites are going to add things to the site. You have to put the circulation promo, the banner ads, the widget at the bottom of the page. You have a lot of different initiatives and things that you have to do. And frankly, those things are going to slow down the page. But if we start with the basic beginning stuff as fast as we possibly can, like as ridiculously fast as we possibly can, then that makes things fast when you do have to add on a couple of seconds of this additional widgets and things. So we really are using, one thing that I think is really cool, we're using icon fonts instead of actual images this is kind of an example of that. This is a font, it's not an image. So there's no HTTP request to download each of these little tiny icons that we're using around the page. Speaking of graphics, we have very, very few, and I'm talking across the entire site, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 instances where we have any kind of image for design purposes in our built-in baseline templates. So there's no place where we're using images for gradations or curved corners or, anything like that. It's all straight up CSS, straight up Bootstrap, and again, that makes it very, very fast. Everything's Retina ready, really sharp for the high resolution devices that are on the market today. We reprioritized how the page loads so that the responsiveness and the perception, a lot of this is about perception sometimes rather than reality, is that it looks like it loads faster and you can start interacting with the page and it might not be done loading yet. So that perception really, really helps. Just the fact that we're using Bootstrap has really helped streamline our development process and helps when we create new features, we don't have to add as much code and as much CSS and as many graphics to style them, because we have this really strong core base framework for how things should look. And we also spent a lot of time looking at how images load, and we actually created a whole back-end infrastructure for creating images on the fly based on the specific size that you are looking at the time. And it's incredibly fast and it caches very well, and it really decreases the size of the page altogether because the images are optimized for the size that you're looking at. It's pretty amazing how it works. So that's something that I think is very impressive, and it really helps the speed. We've seen a lot of sites launch that were on our old our Zen templates that don't have a lot of these same features, and the page speed increases by a really good percentage. Depending obviously on the situation and how many things are there, but that's something that we found has been very successful for a majority of the sites that are launching with this. SEO, we really worked on adding in SEO from the start. There's a lot of things that we actually had really good SEO before. We're doing more things with metadata, with micro formats, adding in kind of these little triggers and little schema.org properties for bots so they can kind of better understand a page. How the title is on the page. There's just a lot of things that we've done for SEO. One thing here that I have a picture of is this all qualifies for Google's mobile-friendly qualification. So when a user is looking at this, doing a search on Google from their phone, this will come up with a little flag saying that this particular site is mobile-friendly. So that really helps with SEO on mobile and helps driving traffic to that page. One thing that a lot of customers are really excited about when they start learning more about Flex is that we have now the opportunity to do built-in ad positions in a block. So instead of being limited to only the regions where you can place ads, now we have blocks so you can move the ad around the page wherever you need. This has been really great because a lot of people are able to add maybe one additional ad spot on the left where you don't have some additional space there. There's a lot of things you can do with this to put ads in the flow of the news screen on the index page. It really gives you a lot more opportunities than we had previously. We also have an integration with Google DFP for small business and for premium, and OAS. So if you're using any of those technologies or you're interested in them, we actually have them built in at a template layer where it's very easy to just create blocks, switch to those, switch some settings to that, and you can use the Google DFP or OAS platform for your ads. And of course, we have ad manager support from Town News as well. So what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to go through this a little quickly because I only have a couple more minutes here, but what I'd like to do is just show you some of the highlights just in a presentation format of what some of the really nice features are. And you can kind of see what this looks like and how clean it is and some of the really neat features in here. But I'll just go through this pretty quickly. This is an example of the front page. A couple of things you can see up here. We have a bunch of different designs for the headers now. Instead of having a designer go in and do a customized header depending on your mock-ups, etc. We just have different regions now. You can choose to have a 2-column, a 3-column, a header across the top, and then you basically use blocks and then populate all of those headers with blocks. It's really nice. I mentioned before customized ad placements. This right here that says Tree Fort is an ad that is actually a block. So I have my top story block, and then I wanted an ad under that, and I was able to just add a second ad spot here on the page inside of a block. We have something we're calling cards in Flex, and this is basically just they're a modular design for how all of the stories look in the blocks, and that helps us with responsive design where the cards themselves have different displays depending on, and different reaction depending on the screen size. But we've got a ton of different really nice, really clean blocks that are able to be used in, just like with all of our different technology, you have a bunch of different blocks that are available, and we've worked a lot on having some really stylish new blocks that are available in Flex. I mentioned a little bit how you can customize your header. This is an example of that. You can see here that these are regions that are available on the page. So I've got a navigation region, a logo region. Over here I've got, I think that's the weather. And then I can just create a weather block, a login block, a search block, transform them how I want for that particular location, and then just drag and drop them into the page and create my header how I need to. If you need to change your logo for Veterans Day, it's a block. All you do is log into the block and upload a new logo. It's very easy. Here's an example of properties. As I mentioned before, you can log in the block editor. It's very easy to change your default style, your colors, your links. These can be changed on a per URL basis. So it's very easy to just create a new section, change a couple of colors, and then you'll have a special parenting section or a bridal section. It's very easy for members of your staff to set up. The story page, I really love what we've done with the story page. There were a lot of features from customers that they gave us feedback over the years on things that they'd like to change. And a lot of times there are things that we can't do because it's too major of a change to affect 1,000 websites at once. So a lot of these things we actually looked at things that people wanted to do over the years that we were really unable to do, and we were able to do that in this setting because it is a major switchover, a major change. So just for example, full width showcase images that go all the way across the page. They're beautifully rendered at the top of the page, really crisp, retina ready images. We have on the page here, these are all the social media icons. We've done them in a special way so that they don't load Facebook and Twitter ahead of time. All of those little widgets that call out to Facebook to find out the Facebook count cost seconds of load time each time you load a page. So we've really streamlined that, and this will still post to Twitter once you click on it, but we don't talk to Twitter or Facebook ahead of time. So these things are really streamlined and quick to load. We have a new button where a user can essentially save a story to their user dashboard and create a list of their favorite articles or their favorite classified ads so they can save them over time and print them out when they need to. It's cross-device friendly, so if they want to save some things while they're at work and then they log in on their phone at home, all of those stories are saved there where they can just look them up and finish reading them at that time. Something that a lot of people have asked us about is when you're using inline photos and inline assets inside of the story, that on our Zen templates, just because of how the page is laid out, they're kind of smaller than the story, but in this case, they're full width. They go all the way across the story area. I'll show, I think I have, so this is an example of more user engagement that we've really added to the Flex templates. In this case, you can have an author on your story page, and you could subscribe to that author and get email alerts anytime they post a new story. It's awesome. And then in this case, you can do the same thing for topics. If you search for Republican debate, and the story that I was looking for isn't here, or I just want to follow this topic whenever there's new stories about it, I can subscribe to that topic, and it will send me emails on a daily basis whenever there's anything new meeting that search requirement. This really helps with stickiness, getting users to come back to your page, and just, they're basically creating their own customized email newsletter for your site. Sorry. This is a really great example of our long form presentation. We have this also on our Zen templates, but you can see here that because we were able to kind of redesign it from scratch, we have a lot more white space on the page, a lot better use of photos and use of space around the page. We've got I thought this was really cool. This headline here will actually auto size depending on how long the headline is. So it was really hard for us to determine how big the headline should be, because you kind of want it as big as possible, but you don't want it, if it's a kind of long headline, you don't want it to be that big. So this auto sizes between 2 different sizes. It'll depend on how long the headline is. So in this case, it's really short, so it's much bigger, but it only goes so big and it only goes so small. So it works really nice. It's a really nice feature. We have awesome photo gallery feature where the photo galleries will automatically create on the page. The user can pop up the photo gallery to take better look through the stories in a kind of immersive dark background scenario to really focus on the photos. And it has integrated ad placements, and you can determine how many photos they see before they see another basically interstitial photo gallery ad. So I could say every 4 photos I want to show an ad. We have several customers using this, and they're really pleasantly surprised with how many additional ad impressions they're getting because of photo galleries. This is just an example of the paging gallery. Paging gallery is a collection where you can create essentially a slideshow gallery of any kind of asset type. This is really great for things like the top 5 YouTube videos of the day. This could be YouTube videos or stories or photos, and you just page through them. Each time a user pages through them, instead of refreshing the whole page, which we and other companies have done in the past, we make it friendly for the user. We don't refresh the whole page, but we count a Google page view each time they page through the gallery. So those all count as page views. And depending on how you set things up, the ads can also refresh with the page view. So each time they turn if you have a photo gallery with 50 images and they look through 50 images, that's 50 ad impressions for that one ad and 50 page views. So it's a really great way of increasing both ad impressions and page views on the site. Series, this is where you have a grouping of stories about a similar topic, and it presents them in this really beautiful series presentation. You can see here that they've got these little bubbles going down the page for each article itself. And then when you're on the article page, each article page will show you an index of all of the articles in that series so that you can easily click between them. And for each article, as you go to the bottom of the article, there's what we call I don't know if I made this word up or not, but a little fly-in div, a little fly-in box from the corner that promotes in-article navigation to the next article in that series. So it's really a great way to encourage, we're really trying to encourage user engagement between articles because we have so many people that are finding an article through Facebook or through Twitter, and they're skipping over the front page and just going directly into the article. So we're trying to look for lots of new ways to turn that one page view into 5 or more. So this is one of those ways, is to build a series, and then you can easily just navigate between them. Verticals, both our real estate and Wheels classifieds products are completely rebuilt from scratch. Really big search with a lot of search opportunities and advanced search at the top of the page. Great presentation of featured listings at the top. These, of course, are all blocks, so you can kind of move these around and do different presentations if you want, depending on the type of layout you'd like. Calendar, again, the calendar is beautiful, big, huge calendar of events, integrated featured listings, easy posting of calendar events through a brand new user dashboard. Business directory, big, huge map across the top of the page. It's much more user-friendly than there's a lot of improvement to user-friendliness here. Obviously, a lot of people might be using their phone to look up coupons or look up a specific business in a certain type of category. So it's very, very phone-friendly. AdAll has completely been revamped, a brand new AdAll layout, and it's very phone-friendly, very tablet-friendly. You can actually upload videos, actually YouTube videos also, but upload photos from your phone. So you're placing an ad about your couch, you just type in information about your couch, choose some attention getters, and then just say take a photo, you take a picture of your couch, upload it, and it goes straight through into an ad-al ad. It's a great, easy to use. In our email reach product, a lot of there isn't a lot of technology that has changed with email vendors. Outlook 2007 is still kind of the same as it was in 2007. So there's not a ton of technology that has changed on this front, but there are some new libraries and some great work that has been done by people on the internet to improve the usability and the responsiveness of emails. So we're using a brand new library for email reach. We've got a whole new set of blocks that are email friendly, new weather blocks, classifieds blocks, promotional blocks, so that you can build those newsletter pages that are mobile friendly and will be sent out through the email reach product. And that's it. So that's it for the preview of that. So the main thing is, how do you get it? I'm sure that's what you all are thinking. So basically, contact your sales rep and they will kind of talk you through the process. The main thing that I kind of wanted to, and I hope that this is obvious kind of going through that presentation, this is a new redesign. This isn't like a switch that you flip and then you get new stuff automatically. We really would like the customer to look through, what URLs and what pages you have now. Think about internally how you want to, make things faster, make things easier for users, and really think about what you want to do. This is all new blocks, 100% rewritten from scratch, and so it is a process to migrate to this. And so that's something that I want to make sure that you keep in your expectations for how this will be for moving over. But I think that we've heard a very, very good feedback on some of the sites that are live right now. We have more than 100 sites that are already launched on this, and we've got a lot of really great feedback for how it's going for them and what their end users think. So I think that you guys will be really excited and really happy with it.
Great, thank you. We do have quite a few questions here, so start working through those. The first one, are ads rendering when scrolled into the viewport or at page load?
We have, actually, this is really interesting. We did a whole bunch of work with this for Ad Manager, DFP, and OAS, that essentially what it does is we use, and I don't want to get too technical here, but we use the responsive design CSS to determine if something is not showing when the page loads, and if it is not showing, the ad does not load from Google. So we only load the ads that are visible at page load time, which means that you won't have a bunch of ads loading in the background that aren't actually visible to the user. So that's something, especially for our Google DFP premium customers who pay for all of those ad loads. We want to make sure that they're not paying for a bunch of ads that don't actually get seen. In addition to the fact that that's not good for the advertisers either. So yeah, we did some really kind of fancy JavaScript stuff to get that to work, and that was an exciting time.
Okay, this is not a question, but a comment, and I swear I am not making this up. We just launched on Flex from Zen, and the speed difference and responsiveness of the site is amazing. Great job. Thanks, Town News. So
awesome, Mom.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, we've heard really good things about this. So, like I said, it is a process to get everything moved over, but it's much faster, and the end users are very happy with it as well.
When will the integration with APT and DSI circulation be done, and the Load-Me for OAS ad tags?
Okay, so
that's a lot.
Yeah, what was the first two? APT and
APT
what?
and DSI circulation, and then Load-Me for OAS ad tags.
I don't know I don't know if anyone else in the room knows. I don't know off the top of my head about the APT one. I know that the DSI is being worked on. I don't have specific timeframes on that either.
2 weeks out.
2 weeks out. That's a good answer.
iServices.
Okay.
Supposedly.
Yeah. So we're working with a bunch of people on different circulation integrations. We already have Newsware integration and media span integration, and we've got a lot of different things in the works for other circulation integration systems. For the last thing was Loadame, what?
Loadame for OAS ad tags.
As far as I know, that should just be some code that gets placed on the page. So I think that would be easy to do, but I can check.
We can follow up.
We can follow up afterwards, yeah.
Will there be additional blocks for Flex, similar to what Town News has for Zen templates?
Yeah, we're always building new blocks for Flex. There's a bunch of them that are available. I will say that we're not necessarily doing, there are certain things that didn't really work well or that weren't really user-friendly that we did in the Zen product. And so some of those things we want to try to get away from in the Flex templates, just because, like I said, they were not user-friendly or they were difficult to maintain and didn't work the way we want. That being said, yes, we're always trying to come out with new things. We're really trying to focus on different types of presentation blocks to change how, the design of the page looks, so that we can offer different types of themes and different designs between papers and between sites. So, but yeah, so we're always coming out with new stuff, and I think we have a couple coming out last week and a couple coming out this week. So,
well, and the blocks themselves are actually, you have much more ability to change the way each block itself looks, like many more settings that are easy to access on the blocks and stuff. So it's very cool in that regard.
Yeah, let me just show you that just really quickly, because I mean, this is one of the things too that I think customers, when they first start using this, are just blown away by how much easier it is to set things up. But it's very easy to come in here. This is the block itself, and you have all these different options that are available that you can choose from. This is just the title. So things that I can do to change the title, I can make kind of a tab, I can change the background, I can change the size of the tab. This is just general where you want the links to show up. In this case, you wanted the text to go, what the color of the text is, if you want a shadow. Different options for aspect ratio on the images. That's something that we've got a lot of feedback. People want to have an aspect ratio on some of their blocks, but then sometimes they don't like them to be cropped. So now you can choose whether or not things get cropped or they show full view, or you get them cropped at certain aspect ratios. And there's a bunch of different types of. And so you can choose this on a per site basis or on a block by block basis. So maybe you don't want to crop your obituaries pictures, but you want to crop all your top story things. So there's a bunch of opportunities there. And then this is just, there's a ton of things here that you can see. Almost every single thing that is showing up on individual blocks you can turn off or on. The section, the flags, the byline, I was going to say headline, but we don't let you turn off the headline. What's the point? So there's a bunch of different things that you can turn on, and really you can do a lot of design inside of each block. So that's a great
right. You can just
example.
By changing a few little settings, you can get a very different looking block.
Absolutely.
So that's very cool. Let's see. Can you outline the typical process of upgrading from Zen to Flex? What things do we need to be aware of if we want to start planning the switch?
Yeah, so I can give you, just really quickly, like I said, it's a redesign process. So they have a kind of a step-by-step process for this. Usually it entails creating an alternate URL map. We asked for the customer to kind of examine their URLs so that you kind of determine the stuff that you want to bring over. There's probably a bunch of junk that you don't want to bring over, but we give you the opportunity to go through that. And then we create kind of a default setup, and then you can go through and move stuff around and configure each of the sections. Now, personally, I would recommend that you really take this as an opportunity to, look at what your goals are for the site. In terms of speed, I actually recommend to customers that they should look at having a budget for the page view size and the page speed, and say that, you're not going to go over 2 megabytes on the front page or 5 megabytes on the front page, whatever you think is for your site, and then watch that as you do designs. And if you add too many blocks on the front page or too many widgets on the front page, you can see how the speed is affected, and that will give you an opportunity to kind of re-examine some of those things. What widgets you have on the page, what advertisements do you have and which ones you need to bring over, etc. So it's really a great opportunity to go through all of those things and make sure that the site is meeting your goals as a company. But that being said, it is a redesign process, and all new blocks, all new pages, all new email setup, everything. But we're really good at it at this point. We've got a good, a good process down for that. So yeah.
Is a page and gallery still a type of collection asset?
Yes, it's a collection asset. So if you have a collection that has only images, we will automatically create a photo gallery style page. If you have something that has photos and videos and all those things, it will create a more it's like a photo gallery, but it's actually paging through other asset types. So that's kind of the difference between a photo gallery and a paging gallery. A paging gallery can be videos or stories, or anything.
Okay. A question on ad refresh. So is that a setting that that is setting that refreshable box in the ad position management?
Yes, for Ad Manager, yes, it's using that refreshable box that you see in Ad Manager. And so, especially for an Ad Manager site, I would definitely recommend that you're not refreshing ads that are out of the viewport, right? So just the ones that you want have right next to your, that are on the screen at the time. That being said, in other ad platforms, you can do, like DFP, you can do refreshing, and OAS, you can do refreshing as well. And those have different qualifications for what those programs are able to do. So you have less opportunity to choose which ones can refresh, but basically all of them refresh on the page if you set it up that way. Same thing with the gallery ads for each. I don't know if I have a example set up here, but that was a pop-up ad. This is kind of an example in the galleries. There's a gallery ad. So I have it set up every 2 images to show a new ad spot. And then you can also, this is the in page, just specifically focusing on the photos. And again, there's an ad spot there. And each of these counts as a page view when they're going through on the articles.
Okay. Another comment that is a wonderful implementation on ads. So,
oh, great.
So again.
Yeah, and the thing that I like about that as well is that you can choose, you can do every 15 photos if you want. You can do, and I wouldn't recommend this, but you could do every 1 photo if you wanted. So you can kind of choose your, how much you want to do with that. And you can actually choose it on a per section basis as well. So if you want to have entertainment has a little bit of a higher threshold for ads, but sports and news has a lower threshold, meaning that you show more photos in those sections. You can actually determine that on a section by section basis.
Okay. How do you set up a series?
A series is just a collection with a series presentation. So, I don't know if you want me to show that really quickly here, but when I want to create a collection, then I just add my child stories. So most of the time these are going to be stories, but let's say I'm doing something about, find assets, Marco Rubio, then I can just choose the articles about Marco Rubio. And then right here in presentation, I would choose series. And then you can kind of choose, actually they should be over here. They shouldn't be siblings, but you can choose the ones that you want to have in your collection, and you can drag and drop them to be in the order that you want.
Okay. Someone mentioned that we forgot to talk about mobile ads and would like to hear about mobile ads.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the really, it's hard to think about it in this way, especially if you've used Touch 5 in the past. Touch 5 is kind of a completely separate site. Here, your whole website is your mobile site, right? So everything in your, everything on your page, this same page right here is also my mobile page. right? So like if I go to the front page, this front page is my mobile page. So what we do for mobile ads is you can choose whenever you're setting up an ad. We have kind of some default behavior. I'll show you. So this is that example of how you preview stuff in different sizes. So this is the large size here. So this is my ad. I can choose for this particular ad what type of visibility I'm going to have in this particular ad spot. So this ad is set to only show when I'm in the large, so based on again, these general, they're called breakpoints. Based on these breakpoints, you can choose which breakpoints those ads show up in. So if you want to have, the really great thing about this is you can choose to have a specific ad with different sizes. So one advertiser might buy the top spot, and let's say you want to build 3 different ad sizes and make sure that they have essentially a run of device experience. You can have 3 different ad sizes, 3 different ad spots, and they could be in each device. Or you can sell the devices separately. You can say, this is my large desktop ads, and the ads go here, but I'm going to also sell ads just in the tablet, and they go here, and I'm going to also sell ads just on the phone, and they go here. So you can kind of pick and choose how you want to set that up, and then just based on how the blocks are set up, how they're configured into which size they show up in. And again, as we talked about previously, the ads do not load if they are not visible in the device size that's being looked at the time. So you won't get any false impressions or weirdness there.
How does NDN integrate with the new system?
It's very similar. We actually have NDN integration in Flex. It's very similar to how it was before. They have a responsive player that will play. We essentially just have an ID that you can add, and then depending on how you have things set up with NDN, if you're doing the content matching or if you're just pulling videos onto your page, we just load the NDN script and it will show up in there as well.
Okay. How do we place image ads in the Flex email reach?
We have a couple, I don't know if I have an example of that, but we actually have an ad manager ad that will work with email reach now, and it will track impressions and click through to the advertiser, which previously we just have to do images. Because you can't run obviously JavaScript ads and stuff in email because the email clients don't typically run JavaScript. But yeah, so we have an ad manager ad that can be used for that, or we also have blocks that are images that you can use just to place images as well.
Okay. Can we bring back a date picker for the e-edition page, index page?
Yes,
Cool.
that is. We just got a request about that, and we are going to be adding that.
Okay. Do you have a block to just add a line of text to a page? I'd rather not create a block with an HTML asset to do so.
We have a block. Well, there's a couple things. Let me just show you. Depending on what the use case is, one thing that we do have is a lot of times people are adding blocks or adding little snippets of text to talk about a block. And one of the things that we do have in this case is this block note. So you'll have the title. So in this case, it's, I think, so these events are sponsored by the advertiser or something, by advertisers. Should I spell this right? And then you can see here that this actually shows up right here on the page. So a lot of times people are trying to put something in here that says, click here to advertise in this spot, those types of things. And now we have that built-in capability to do that. The other thing, there is a text promo block, and that basically just, I don't know if I have an example of it. We also have a text promo block that can, depending on the fields that you filled out, you can choose not to have a title and then just fill out the center of it, and that will essentially be a block of text on the page.
Okay. Can you add a feature, or is there a feature to turn off lead paragraph in block settings?
Inside of each individual block, in most of our blocks, there is a under content. We do have the ability to truncate or turn off the lead paragraph. Yeah, so someone had just asked to show a couple of examples of sites. I'll just show a couple of ones I can think of off the top of my head if anyone has some favorites. What was that?
Pilot Online.
Yes, Pilot Online or Madison.
So this is Virginia Pilot, who just launched, I think, yesterday or the day before. So again, this is a Flex site. And so one thing to notice as you look through these, just the ability to, the different types of layouts that you can have and, what they look like in different viewpoints. So this is kind of a medium size, what you can see here. It looks differently on a full desktop size. This presenter isn't quite big enough to count as a full desktop monitor. Another Billings Gazette is another good example. They've got this nice full script page interstitial ad, but they've got this nice, this is called our mosaic block. It looks really great in mobile, but it's a really nice kind of different presentation for your top stories. Another thing that I like that they did, you can kind of notice as I scroll down the page that the photos are not loading until I get to that point in the photo. So none of those things are loaded when you first go to the page. But you can see here, this particular grid allows you to have kind of a nice 3-column layout that goes across the page, and then they put their jobs, homes, and autos. So again, it's very mobile friendly. Anybody else have any?
Bozeman Chronicle.
What was that?
Bozeman Chronicle.
Oh, yeah. These guys, the Bozeman and the different Pioneer papers have done a really great job with Flex. You can see a really nice big photo at the top. They've got some, they kind of have a membership model where only certain photos are behind subscription, or certain stories are behind subscription. And you got this nice mosaic here. So in this case, they're not doing a top story using the mosaic block, but they chose to do that as a full cut through the page at the bottom.
We have a couple of suggestions from the audience. Collegian.psu.edu and MontereyCountyWeekly.com.
So you can go, and so you can see what it looks like in the different screens when we go there. So breaking news block across the top. Yeah, these guys launched, I think, this week too,
Just
right?
this week,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
So you can see how fast that loads. I don't know, what was the other one?
Collegian.psu.edu.
Hopefully I spelled that right.
Looks like.
Yes. Yeah, so really fast. And you can see how, even though some of the page isn't downloaded yet, it felt like the page was done in almost, that was probably sub 2 seconds there, I think.
Okay, will we have to recreate all the forms and static pages we have in Zen?
So, yes and no. They will come over, and you will have, so all of your static pages come over, all of your forms come over. Forms, for the most part, should be relatively straightforward. They should just move over depending on how you did them. Static pages, they will come over, but you obviously will need to be responsible for how responsive they are, right? So if you did a bunch of tables or a bunch of images, they might not be responsive, and so there might be some code that needs to be added or some things that need to be changed in order to make those responsive, depending on how you set them up.
Okay. What weight size are you recommending for the front page?
Well, so for our basic stuff, we're trying, I don't know, it's hard to say. It depends on how many ads you have. I would say between 2 and 5 megabytes, which should get you, 2 to 5. You kind of, the goal on the internet, I would say, is 1 to 2 megabytes and then 1 to 2 seconds of load time. That's really hard to, if you're using, any kind of network ads or a lot of third-party services, that might be impossible to reach. If you're using BLOX Ad Manager and don't have a lot of third-party widgets, you probably can get there, but it's really hard for people that have a lot of relationships with different vendors and things like that. So, you can see what you're capable of doing, and then just try to keep it as low as possible. The reason why I like having everybody starts off pretty good, right? You start off your thing, nice clean website. Everyone had meetings with the committee and decided everything that's going to go on there. But then Joe needs to add another widget to the front page for the Christmas contest, and then Mike needs to add something here, and then over time you get widget creep, right? Where all of a sudden there's like 50 things on the page and it's hard to control. So one thing that's really cool about having a budget is that you say, yeah, Joe, I can add this to the page, but what are you going to give up? We have to get rid of something else. So you're going to have to give up the cutest pet contest widget, or something else. Or maybe it only goes on the front page, but it doesn't go on every single page in the whole site. So there's a lot of different things and we're actually planning on, in the next couple of months, that was a preview of a rant that I have fully prepared about different ways to really try to look at things on your site and reducing page load and improving page speed. We're probably going to be doing another webinar about that soon. Is really, there's a lot of things that we did in Flex, and kind of keeping the philosophy of what we did in terms of when you're actually acting upon it in the practice from day to day. We'll have another webinar on that in the next couple months.
Planning a whole series of Christine rants.
Yeah, Christine rants, exactly.
Where do we make a feature request?
If you just go ahead and go to customer support, your normal CRM ticket, and say, you can start off with feature request. What happens is they'll vet that and make sure that there's not already a way to do that. And then after that, we actually have a queue that it goes to where we do an evaluation process and then put it into we do have a lot of feature requests from a lot of customers, and we can't do everything right away. So a lot of times it's, we have to look at things that are affecting a lot of customers and a lot of customers will use. So we try to vet those out on basically the needs of the market. But and so we have a queue that those go into, and then we evaluate them.
On average, how long does a redesign take from start to finish?
It really depends on the engagement. What was that? Yeah. It really depends on the engagement and the what the individual media site customer puts into it. To be honest, we've had some customers that have done things in a month, and we've had some customers that have done things in more than that. I would say I think our average is, would you say 60 days? Yeah, 2 to 3 months, I would say. And again, it really depends on the effort that you guys put into it, and if you're able to be responsive and do really quick turnaround on things, we have staff here to help you with that.
Does the word advertisement automatically show up on the top of ad blocks?
I love that question. Well, actually, I don't know if it's automatic or not, but you can choose what that says and whether or not you want to show it. Personally, I like having the advertisement there, so this was something that I really wanted to do, but I know that it's not for everybody, so you can turn that off right here in the overline. Another thing that I like is that on the individual block, you can say something. So this might be my, sports sponsor of the day or something like that. And then so you can kind of pick and choose what that overline says. But no, it's not required, and you can make it say what you need.
Okay. Can non-ad blocks use the visibility CSS options?
Absolutely. The great thing about this is that this gives you the opportunity to change how your site looks depending on, this block might be just too much for a mobile phone, It actually looks nice in a mobile phone, but let's say that you felt it was kind of over the top. You can just make this be visible LG, and then now it's only on desktop. The one point of caution that I will have about this is that, which is true for all responsive design, you really shouldn't do that unless it's very important, because all of that stuff continues to download. And so I would only use that maybe once or twice in extreme circumstances.
It downloads, it's just hidden.
Correct.
Then, yeah.
It still downloads, it's just hidden. So if you have like 3 completely different designs with completely separate blocks for each of your tablet and desktop and mobile, there's probably something that you're doing wrong there, I would say. All this stuff really should work for the most part on all devices. It's all responsive. Each block is flexible for any grid, any spot that you go into. So, but there might be situations where just based on how the grid is managed, something is on top of something else and you don't like that, you can create another block, have one block show up only on mobile and one block show up only on desktop, and that way you can change the look and feel or the placement of that block. But use with caution.
Someone noted that when you went to the mobile view, it looked like the header didn't adjust to the new site. Is there a character limit on the name in the header? They're wondering.
I don't know. I'd have to look into that. There shouldn't be. It should expand to the particular size. Yeah, I mean, most of our sites we have a mobile header and then a kind of a different header for what it looks like on desktop.
Will the breakpoints in the block visibility ever be in a drop-down menu rather than having to be typed?
I would like that too. Yeah, I mean, we have talked about that.
Christy, you put in a feature.
Yeah. we do actually have a feature request in for that. It's a little bit more complicated for a couple of different reasons, but yeah, that is something that we've talked about. I would like little icons, and you could click on the icon that you want. But yeah, it's not going to be extremely soon, but we have talked about that.
Okay. Is Flex a responsive site, or is it an adaptive site based on breakpoints?
So it is responsive in the effect that it's all client side. It's all done with media queries, and we don't do any, and this is a good question because there's also the, in Touch 5 and Zen, we did an M.dot site, and we did some kind of adaptive server side based on the fact that you were on an M.dot site. We don't do any of M.dot, it's all server side, all responsive.
This actually dovetails with the next question. Someone's wondering how Flex and Touch 5 are different, and if Flex replaces Touch 5.
Yes, definitely. Flex would replace Touch 5. There's no reason really to have a Touch 5 site anymore. Your site is your mobile site, and your site is your desktop site. There's a lot of advantages for doing that. Obviously just sharing a URL, it will automatically come up with the mobile-friendly version if you're on a mobile-friendly or the tablet-friendly, so there's no kind of confusion between the URLs. And yeah, there's not, if you have a need for a tablet-specific site or you're doing something like that, there are things that can be done, but that's not the intent of how this works.
Is trending, quote-unquote trending, just most popular?
Probably. There are some sites use a vendor called Chartbeats to create a trending list. And then sometimes they'll use just most popular or even just editorial picked things that they think are popular at the time. So depending on the site you're looking at, there's different ways to do that.
Okay. A couple of comments. Someone suggesting that we point out that the menu bar can stay at the top of the page, that you can pin the menu bar to the top of the page. And also a customer who has already launched on Flex saying they're seeing increased pages per visit on mobile.
Yeah,
switching.
We really like just the emphasis. We actually, on Zen templates, we also count photo views in the photo gallery as page views, but it's so much easier to do on Zen, and there's so many more opportunities to look at the photos that we've really seen a really big increase in user engagement and and you know, another thing too is just abandonment rates. The faster your site is, the lower your abandonment rate will be. So that's another thing that we've seen a lot there. And just to show really quickly here, these are kind of the navigation options. So you have a bunch of different navigation styles. For mobile, you can choose your navigation style. For your main navigation, you can have a drop down. We still have the Mega Nav option, but I will say with Mega Nav, all of those little blocks that you have in the navigation download at all, you know, for each page load. So that does add some download time to your site. And then hamburger navigation, which is a very kind of mobile-friendly navigation that goes on desktop as well. So, and we're always going to be adding new, whatever the, you know, the cool new navigation style is that people come up with.
Okay.
And here's the sticky position that they were talking about, either fixed static or fixed on scroll.
Question, my page customizations tab gets cut off vertically and I cannot scroll to see all the options. What browser is ideal for building in blocks?
I would say definitely, I personally use Chrome, and so Chrome and Firefox are our two most popular.
Does that sound more like a screen resolution issue?
Could be a screen resolution issue. That's one thing I've been doing here. You can use the zoom on the page to kind of create a smaller resolution size if that helps.
Control plus and control
Yep.
minus, yeah.
And then again, you know, remember that you have your large desktop. Sometimes you're on a screen that won't fit the large desktop size on it, and then you can use the viewability drop down to determine. So, and then it starts scrolling from side to side if it doesn't fit.
Does the system have a built-in tool to help measure page weight?
It doesn't right now. I generally use like the Chrome web developer tools. It gives you a really nice panel on exactly the download time and the size of the page. And it'll also tell you, and this is a great exercise for, especially for anybody, well actually regardless of your site, go to web developer tools and go to the network tab and then load your page, and you can see, it can rank the things that are the fastest elements versus the slowest elements. And if you find that surf time widget is taking 3 seconds to load, maybe that's something you should look at, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay, a question about Zen templates and if they're going to continue to be supported.
Yes, they are going to be continue to be supported. At this time, we are, you know, doing more development. I will say it's much easier. The way that we built the Flex templates, it's much easier and faster for us to work in the Flex environment. We use something called an MVC coding philosophy, I guess, style, which basically separates out the HTML code from the business logic, and it's much easier for us to build new things and to build new widgets. And even in the future, when HTML6 comes out or whatever cool thing happens in 2 or 3 years, it'll be much easier for us to build into that using the same back-end structure and then a revamped front end. So it's much easier for us to build in the Flex environment, but we are currently supporting Zen until a future announcement, which has not yet been determined.
What is the cost of Flex? Talk to your salesperson. Yep. Yeah, give your salesperson a call, please. Will we know who is viewing the site on mobile and desktop when we go to Flex like we do now with Touch 5 and desktop?
What I would recommend is using Google Analytics. When you're in Google Analytics, it'll tell you all the device sizes that were viewed and all of the, you know, the popular devices and the popular widths. So you'll be able to determine based on the Google Analytics numbers what people are seeing, and it's more accurate even than the you know, not to talk negatively about Touch 5 or anything, but just because you went to a Touch 5 page doesn't mean you're on a mobile device. You could go to a Touch 5 page on a desktop device or vice versa. So this actually tells you everybody's going to the same page, and then it'll tell you how they did that by looking more deeply into your analytics numbers.
Someone's wondering where they can go to view previous webinars. Would you mind going to townnews.com?
Well, we didn't do that last page either.
We will.
Okay.
Click on News.
Hey, this looks beautiful. This is a new site.
We just launched our own Flex site, so yeah, very excited. If you scroll down on this page, keep going. There's a list of some of our most recent webinars, and if you actually click Recent Webinars, there you'll go to a page that this is where we post our webinar recordings, so you can check those out later. Okay. How do the stats work on the Flex site? Will we be able to tell who is using tablet, mobile, and desktop?
That's pretty much what I already said about Google Analytics. I would really recommend, if even if you don't do Google Analytics now, we have a really great analytics integration. It's very easy to just add your numbers in there, and then you can log in and track Google Analytics on your page. We actually do certain events we just launched, we're just about to launch an analytics event so that you can see users who are using ad blocking devices. So there's a bunch of stuff that we're doing now with Google Analytics to kind of provide more details and more things. So yeah, I would highly recommend Google Analytics and just adding that to your page if you aren't already. It gives you a lot of good insights.
Okay. Someone says this could be an access level thing, but I'm not seeing anything at all on the page customization tab on Zen. Will I not on Flex, or is that tab updated with those options when I switch to
Correct.
Flex?
Yeah. We actually trigger that based on the type of template that you're looking at the time. So the only thing, we do have some page customizations in the Touch 5, or we actually have the viewability stuff in Touch 5, but yeah, mostly that's done by the template itself. And so that will magically come in when you switch over and start working in the Flex environment.
Okay. Will there be new training videos posted for the Flex templates?
Yeah, I think we have a couple of new ones already, but yeah, we are going to be looking at some Touch 5s or some Flex specific things, and we're constantly doing new videos and redoing them. We also have go ahead.
And actually, we have an all new documentation site. If you go to help.bloxcms.com, and this site includes documentation on Flex in addition to Zen, and any new videos and stuff will be posted here as well.
Yeah, this is a
great new resource.
It's a great new resource, and this is also using Flex, so it's mobile friendly. It's much easier to search and find things, and they did a great job with this site. So yeah, this is a great new resource that is available, that just launched a couple weeks ago, a month ago. So
In the training department.
yeah, they did an awesome job with this.
And that is all of the questions. That was great. Thank you so much to everyone for your contributions. You can go back to the slideshow. Now to stay connected with us, as we just showed you, we have an all new documentation site, help.bloxcms.com. As always, you can call our support line at 800-293-9576 or visit support.townnews.com. Our partner community is a great way for customers to share ideas and share best practices. You can go to community.townnews.com for that. And you can also follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. To sign up for our newsletter, for software release notes, webinar announcements, training department announcements, etc., visit our website and click News, and you'll see a panel like what you're seeing there in the right hand column that allows you to sign up for all of those email alerts. And that is all. Thank you very much. Thanks, Christine, for walking us through this, and thanks to everybody for the great questions and interaction. Please do sign up for our webinar announcements, and we'll let you know what's upcoming. I believe next month we're going to have a brand new BLOX Total CMS webinar, so look out for that. Anyway, thanks again, Christine, and
Awesome,
thank you everybody. We'll talk to you next month.